Okay, the next item on the agenda is superintendent's recommendations and reports. Mr. Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Birdie. This time, I'd like to ask Mr. Martin to cover the items listed under Personnel Professional.
Thank you, Mr. Smith, Mr. Birding, and members of the board. I have several items for your consideration this evening under Personnel Professional. Item number 1, resignations, letter A. Item number 2, unpaid leaves of absence, letter A. Item 3, employment. Letter A is credit recovery and/or credit flexibility instructors. Item B is extracurriculars for the current school year. Item C, home instructors. Item D, a substitute teacher. Item E, substitute nurse. And item F, volunteers for the current school year. That concludes the items I have for your consideration this evening under Personnel Professional.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to accept the recommendations.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
I just want to say, I see this every month. So we have a retirement. And I just feel like you need to do like a little happy dance or something when those retirements come. It needs like a little star next to it or something. That's a big deal.
It is a big deal. Thank you. We do have recognitions at the end.
I know, but we need like a little, like a whoop whoop in the.
If you would like for me to whoop whoop when I read them, I can certainly do that.
Just the retirement ones. They deserve something.
Okay.
Any other comments? Mrs. Lane, will you call the roll, please?
Mrs. O'Neill?
Yes.
Mrs. Shorter?
Yes.
Mr. Begley?
Yes.
Mr. Birding?
Yes.
Mrs. Gundrum?
Yes.
Motion passes.
This time, I'd like to ask Mr. Penny to cover the items listed under Personnel Support.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Birding, members of the board, I have the following items for your consideration this evening under Personnel Support. Under item number 1, resignations, letters A and B. Under item number 2, unpaid leave of absence, letters A through E. Under item number 3, employment, letters A through D. This concludes the items I have for your consideration this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Penny. This time, I will accept any motions to accept the recommendations.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Do just want to take a moment to recognize Mrs. Wayhoff and her loss to our district. And she's got students still in the district, to my understanding, or a
Yes.
student,
Yeah.
right?
Your son Reese.
So our thoughts and prayers are out to her family, and maybe they find some comfort in the coming days. All right, Mrs. Lane, will you call the roll, please?
I just asked a clarification. Was that Mrs. Shorter that seconded that, or?
It was.
Mr. Shorter seconded, yes.
Thank you. Mr. Begley?
Yes.
Mrs. Shorter?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Neill?
Yes.
Mrs. Gundrum?
Yes.
Mr. Birding?
Yes. Motion passes.